How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about SOFI, which was down 7.30%. We saw a lot of weakness inside of the market. We saw a lot of selling pressure. And of course, SOFI pulled back. You remember what I was saying in my previous videos? If we broke down $6, I want to see us hold up around 586. We ended up seeing that low around 585. So I was off by 1 cent. Even came on Webull and as well as StockTwits. But as we continued to sell off towards the end of the day, we started testing lows into the $5.70 range. So I want to make sure you guys are prepared going into tomorrow since we do have earnings. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is a technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for SOFI. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $5.97, being down 7.30%. On the low, it tested $5.79, and then on the high, testing $6.39. And as you can see what's going down inside of the after hours, we are trading at $5.54 at the time of this recording, which is at 4:18 p.m. EST. Taking a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 49.393 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 46.038 million shares. So we did have above average volume on the day, and you can see that we had a pullback in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it's at 35.25. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 200-day, the 100-day, the 50-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. And it's clear to see that SOFI is in a bear market, trading below all of our major moving averages. So we ended up seeing a low of the day at $5.79. I was looking for seeing if we can hold up at 586. We did hold that up because we did test around 585, and then as the market continued to sell off, that's where we ended up seeing that low at 579. So if you're looking for a reversal out of this play, it's going to have to come back to the 21-day EMA, which is at $6.99, but let's just call that $7. $7 becomes a key level. It becomes a psychological area because as you can see what's going on in the after hours, we're going to need SOFI to come with a strong earnings report so it can have some price action back above 7. If we end up having continued weakness in the market and we end up disappointing on earnings, don't be shocked if we have SOFI actually breaking $5 and trading in the $4 range. So that's one thing I want you guys to be aware of. But for the most part, as far as going into tomorrow, I really don't see any sort of a run up going into earnings. We could sell off some more, and that's where we're going to want to see $5 continue to hold up. But for the most part, as far as the technicals are concerned, it continues to look bearish. Now let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for SOFI. So green rows indicate new positions, while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look at the recent filings here from May the 9th, we have Herald Advisors Inc. that purchased 3,100 shares. And then we have Regal Investment Advisors. They have 28,263 shares. And they also went in with calls of a value of shares at 17,600. We also have Riverwood Capital Management Limited that purchased just under 22 million shares. And then we also have Parsec Financial Management that purchased 110,000 shares. And then we have CTC LLC that purchased 153,165 shares. But again, Riverwood Capital Management took the prize here, just under 22 million. Wow. And now when we take a look at the short interest, The off-exchange short volume ratio is at 59.15%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 13.07 million shares. Scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 600,000, updated 25 minutes ago, and then for the short ball fee rate, it is at 1.30%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 5th, it was at 61.00, and then for the close of the 6th, being at 59.15%. So when we combine that with the short interest percentage of the float being at 19.47%, SOFI does have short squeeze potential. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution.
Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for SOFI. So we see on the inflow, it was at 56.53 million, and then on the outflow, it's at 53.51 million. So we had an inflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large, it was 5.36 million. On the medium, it was 35.17 million, and then on the small, it was 16 million. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large, it was 0.59 million. On the medium, it was 35.22 million, and then on the small, it was 17.70 million. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for May the 9th, we had a big inflow, which is today, of course, at 4.77 million. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tends to represent the retail side, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. Keep in mind it was fairly close. And then when we take a look at the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had a lot more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 5.53%. So this continues to be a consistent range for SOFI. We know what it is a volatile play. It does move alongside with the tech sector. And since we're seeing a lot of weakness in these markets, that's why we need to understand if you are going to be inside of this play, it does come with a lot of risk and you need to have high conviction, especially, well, you know what? We'll talk about it further inside of the final thoughts. So let's get into it right now. So for my final thoughts for SOFI, when it comes to the price action, you know what? Before we actually get into that, I want to let you guys know we had Upstart that ended up releasing their earnings inside of the after hours, and the stock plummeted the last time I checked by over 40%. So this is going to have an impact on the overall fintech sector, and it's part of the reasons why the last time I checked inside of the after hours, SOFI was trading around the $5.50 range. So if we continue to see some weakness in these markets going into tomorrow, don't be shocked if we start testing around $5. And if they end up disappointing for earnings, we could have this stock trading in the $4 range. But again, for my long-term investors out there, this could be an opportunity. This could be worth some consideration. As long as you're doing your homework and you're doing your due diligence, again, give it a look. Very important. I don't want you guys to just go out there and blindly buy the stock because you need to have high conviction. As far as for the upside is concerned, you'd want to see it get to at least a 21-day EMA, which is right around $7. It's around $6.99, but let's just call it $7. But we know this is definitely going to be a key level. If SOFI can reclaim it, that's where I want to look forward to seeing a move going to $8. But is that going to be happening for this week? I'm personally not seeing it. I do not have any big expectations whatsoever. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership, we could see that institutions have been loading up on shares. With one of the institutions having a position of just under 22 million, which I thought was crazy. But again, that's great to see if you're a long-term investor. And then when we took a look at the short interest information, it does continue to have short squeeze potential. But there's no surprises. Shorts are all over these plays. If a company has not shown to be consistently profitable, we know already what's going to happen. Shorts are going to be all over it. And as the stock continues to pull back, we're going to have weakness. We're going to be having fear on the retail side. And we're going to see the stock continuing to get into buy ranges for my long-term investors. So that's why you want to have a clear strategy. If SOFI gets into the $4 range, I would definitely be keeping a very close eye on it and doing some research to see if the play would be right for you. And for all of my swing traders, if you want to take advantage of the price action, see what it does if it trades in the $4 range. Wait for it to actually find the base. And if it can find the base, that's where you go in with a position. You set your stop loss however you want to set it to for your risk tolerance. And then you want to ride that momentum to the upside to see where the stock could go. And making sure that you have a clear idea of what your exit strategy is going to be. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see how the stock performs going into tomorrow. And let's see what they do for earnings. Again, do not have big expectations. We'll talk soon.